Hi, I'm Kathleen Byram. I'm the author of Conversations with Donkey, A Bipolar Journey. I'd like to talk today about me as a child being a fool, otherwise known as Young Fool, as is the title. The first foolish thing that I remember doing was the fact that I was very unperceptive and clumsy. And I remember that Mom told me that she had to explain to people that I was clumsy and would fall into the corner of the coffee table and stuff like that, and I would get bruises, and it was embarrassing. I was clumsy to the point that I don't know if you'd call this clumsiness. I don't know what you call this. I would run people off the sidewalk when walking with them. I would go, instead of walking straight down the sidewalk, I'd start doing this as I'm going. And it's very strange. I also notice I have, well, look, see that? I am asymmetrical. Now, as I relax my eyebrow, you see that it's still, I have to turn my head like this to get my eyebrows to match. I'm not holding my eyebrow up now. It just does that. And I'm asymmetrical from my head to my feet, probably. I was told that I was delivered with forceps. So, back to the being a fool. I was just thinking about how I had to take dance lessons. My mother had me take tap and jazz and ballet from our neighbor lady. She had a dance studio. I remember the way we treated a couple of the girls in the dance studio. Eleanor and Ruthie. I was a jerk. I was an ass. And I want to apologize to you two. I am very sorry about what I put you through. I know it wasn't a lot. I didn't do it a lot, but all it takes is one time to brand hurt into somebody's psyche. And I did it more than once. I remember saying something about going and playing on the highway, and everyone laughed merrily. It was such a bitchy thing to say. So I apologize, you ladies. I'm thinking about, as I got older, the stupid things I would do. I remember at 11 going out into the ocean way too far. I'm sure my grandpa nearly had a heart attack over that. I went out there, and suddenly I was out far deeper than I could reach the ground, or I should say the seafloor. And I became suddenly exceedingly weary. I just lost all my energy, and I thought, I'm going to drown. And at the same time, my mother was calling me because I was too far out, and she was starting to panic. because I wasn't responding. And my grandfather from that far distance said, "She's in trouble." And he came for me. And I don't remember when he got there. I just remember that I thought I was going to die because I was so weary I couldn't move. And he brought me back. I don't know how he knew. But that was foolish of me to do that. I remember hitting my head on the same trip as that one. Hitting my head for running around the pool. Just doing foolish little things. I remember probably at around the age of 8, watching a magic show and being very interested in the idea of being inside. Look, kitty, see it up there? That's Petra. I remember feeling very excited about the idea of getting in a trunk and closing it up and being in there. I think it was a little bit of an Asperger-y thing, to tell you the truth. I always thought that I kind of had a little Asperger's, and I think that might be a trait of being like a cat and wanting to get in the nice snuggly box. I don't know if any of this is making any sense. It's probably stupid. But anyway, I wanted to get in that trunk, and I had a trunk upstairs, and I had stuff in it. So I went upstairs, and I got the trunk out, and I took the stuff out of it, and I got in, and I was about to pull it down on my head, and I thought, what if it snaps into place and locks, and I'm stuck in here, and I suffocate? And I got out, and I pushed it down, and it snapped and locked. I made the mistake of telling my mother about that. My poor mom. She just about fainted. I remember making a volcano with green lava. Green? And I used green food coloring, and Mom coming into the kitchen later and saying, "Why are there green dots on my ceiling?" I'm surprised they didn't have me get up on a ladder and clean that. I don't know how she dealt with that. What are some of the other stupid things I would do? I remember running through the house with a friend and her chasing me with a butcher knife and us screaming. I remember us getting out on the road and acting very foolish. We could have been picked up. I remember lots and lots of stupidity. Things in high school. I've probably talked enough about this subject because now we're at 8:45 and this is going to be a long thing to have to process. And you probably aren't watching anymore anyway. If you are watching, thanks. And please like and comment and subscribe if you feel like it. Thanks. Bye-bye.